So I just tagged you underneath, but if you just retweet the original post, that'd be awesome.
Waiting for it to pop up. Let me just go find it. Sounds good.
Sweet. All right, I'm gonna play my theme song, and then we'll get into it.
We're riding. Hype happy hour, talking about life, so you might feel empowered. Hype happy hour, tornado on the mic with a guest giving flowers. Hype happy hour, tools and reviews provide life tapping power. Hype happy hour, positive and light with advice, build your tower. Happiness is key, so you gotta bring the smiles out. Inspiration needs a bit of passion to just wild out. Positivity and optimism when we ride out. Enthusiasm and dreams, gotta feed them till your time's out.
Hyped Happy Hour, episode 30. I am Gentle Tornado. I am your host, and I am here because I created a company called Live Hyped. Hyped is an acronym that stands for happiness, inspiration, positivity, enthusiasm, and dreams. If you look at the bottom left, the logo is an H with a heartbeat in the middle because we never know how many heartbeats we have. So here at Hyped, I am on a mission to make every single heartbeat count and make the words in Hyped louder. I am joined today on episode 30 with an absolute legend, very humble individual, very grateful individual, very positive individual. Zeneca, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we get straight into it with just what you're grateful for today. So what are you grateful for?
Coffee.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that comes to mind. I'm grateful for just generally life, but this week, a bit of a quieter week being home. I've been traveling a lot over the last month and just grateful to be home.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome. So what we do here is we bridge the gap between Web3 personal life, get to know extraordinary people in the space, and so we started off with your origin story. So I mean, like a 2 to 5 minute, maybe from your childhood to your, professional career to how you got into Web3. Kind of give us, like everybody listening, who you are and how you got into this space.
Yeah, so before NFTs and Web3, I was a professional poker player, which it's basically all I did prior to this. So I got into that when I was about 17 and did it for about 16 years. I always loved games growing up, board games, card games, video games. And so when I found poker in high school, I was like, hey, this looks fun. Started playing with friends and then realized you could play for money online and did that and started out with like $50 and was able to sort of make a living off of it eventually. And so I followed that path down all the way. And then in 2017, I dabbled in crypto for the first time. I think Ethereum was going crazy. Everyone thinking that big bull market. Then the 2018 bear market hit, and I was like, all right, that was a fun experiment. Let's go back to real life. And then 2021 rolled around, and everything was going off again. And I had some friends that were sort of talking to me about NFTs, and that's when I first became aware of NFTs and that crypto was really having a moment again. I started to become aware of DeFi, and I said, all right, now I want to kind of make a conscious decision to sort of focus on learning this whole new space and see where that leads. And yeah, that was February, March 2021, and it's been like 18 months just still falling down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. So do you just love the journey so far of diving full time into this?
Oh, it's been amazing. Yeah,
Yeah. So
absolutely.
tell me about, so you did poker for 16 years.
Something like that. 16,
That's
17.
crazy.
Yeah.
Did you get burned out at all, or what was that journey
Oh,
like?
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely got burnt out many, many times. It was all over the place. There were really good months and years and less good months and years. And it really helped, uh, I guess, almost like train me for the crypto and NFT space because you learn to deal with like financial swings and variance and making and losing money and all the emotions that come along with that. So uh, it yeah, it was really fun and exciting and interesting. It's like a very non-traditional career, basically, obviously. and it was good to just be able to be my own boss and to travel and to, you know, play however much I wanted to play, and have more autonomy and ownership over sort of my life, because you play better, generally you're gonna make a better livelihood. And if you slack off and are not playing much or not playing well, or anything like that, then your results tend to suffer as well. So it was a journey, but by the end of it, I was sort of, it had been enough. It was like becoming a grind. I was not loving it. It wasn't really fulfilling or rewarding, and so I was very happy to sort of be able to pivot into crypto.
That's awesome, man. How long into your NFT journey did you create Zen Academy?
So Zen Academy launched, the NFT launched almost a year ago to the day, November 9th last year. The idea for it probably came in June, July. So it wasn't that far along into my actual career. I started creating content in May, June, like my newsletter, and then started tweeting, and then I started a podcast with a friend. And then I was like, maybe if I want to be full time in this space and I don't want to be trading all the time, because it's risky to make everything based on trading. What can I do? And that's where sort of content and education and Zen Academy came from. But it wasn't really until October that I started properly fleshing out the idea, which is still not that long. It was probably 6-7 months really into the journey.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. Have you always like had a passion for wanting to educate people and help people? Because I think there's a ton of information in the Zen Academy. Like I would say, you bring a lot of information to the table.
I've always wanted to sort of do more of it, but it's never something I've really done a lot of. As a poker player, I did some coaching, and I would like teach people as a poker player, but never really too much more into the educational. And I used to write about poker and had a blog, so like in terms of the content and stuff like that. That was always there, but it was never anywhere near as elaborate as where I'm at now.
That's awesome. I actually grew up with my dad. My dad loves poker, and so I probably watched the World Series of Poker since I was like 8 or something. So when I tell him that I
Mhm.
had you on, he's going to be stoked for sure. Um, well, listen, I've gotten a lot of information from you. I've watched you since I got into the space. I've gotten into the space last April, so I've been following the whole time, and just honestly, truly grateful to have you on the podcast. So we get into happiness. So I'm going to share my
Mm.
screen, and I'm going to read you my favorite definition of success. Okay, it's by Ralph Waldo Emerson. So it's to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate the beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. Have you
I
ever
love
heard
that quote.
that?
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
a really good one.
What's your favorite part of it?
Uh, to have made one life breathe easier is to have succeeded. Yeah.
Yeah, that's me too. And I love sharing that every episode because it's so focused on other things besides money and physical things. And I think that's
Hmm.
those things are great too, but the other things are so important. And I think when you're grounded in those things, it can just fulfill your life in so many different ways.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
All right. So the first question under happiness is, what makes you happy every day?
I think my default is happy these days. It didn't used to be, but I'm just generally happy to wake up and happy to be here and to be able to do what I do, and you know everything is be where I am, and I got a loving partner, and we have a dog, and life is good, and just generally life makes me happy every day.
That's awesome. What is the happiest moment of your life?
Ooh, that's an interesting one. I don't think I have a singular moment that absolutely stands out. Lots and lots of like smaller moments. It's the little
Do you have
moments
like
that count.
maybe like a few little ones?
Sure. I think things like being on vacation and going kayaking or something like that, or being on top of a mountain or something like that. If you want to tour and go experience something in nature, even though I'm not like a massive, person into nature, always like whenever I am out there, and yeah, just I think, f- let's see, yeah, I think let's go with those answers.
What so you do enjoy traveling, it seems like, right?
I do. Well,
Where
I do and
where's
I don't. I'm a homebody, but I also enjoy traveling. Yeah.
where's your favorite place that you've been?
Probably Japan. It's really
Yeah.
incredible. Japan, Italy, yeah, south of France, Spain more recently. But I'm gonna stick with Japan. It's probably somewhere I really want to go back to. I love Japanese food, culture, people, everything. It was a really great trip. God, like 6 years ago now, and I would
Yeah.
love to. Definitely will be going back. Yeah.
That's dope. That's awesome. That's awesome. I would love to go to Japan too. I've heard just so many great things. Every person I've heard that's gone there just says great things, and I think it's a testament to Japan.
Mm.
Um, what are some top communities that you're maybe that you very like you really enjoy besides like your community, obviously, but like maybe some NFT communities that you enjoy projects?
Art Blocks is the one that I enjoy the most. I spend the most time in, aside from my own, and it's just got great vibes, great people, great art. It's yeah. There's no better place in Web3 than the Block Talk channel and Art Blocks.
I've heard you talk about that a few times on some spaces for sure with Eddie too. Um, do you love like collecting one of one art as well, or
I do. I don't do as much of it, just because of time constraints and difficulty in sort of finding artists and really all of that. But I definitely still really enjoy collecting one-on-one art as well as generative art.
do you have a favorite? Do you have like a favorite one NFT or something that you have that you're like, I love this one? I'm sure you have a
I
bunch.
don't. I don't think I have a singular favorite one. I have a lot that I like a lot, but no singular favorite NFT. No.
Do you trade quite a bit, correct?
I used to. Nowadays I
Yeah.
don't trade as much. Yeah.
Do you think you like to trade because of your poker background or
I think so. Yeah, it's strategic. It's competitive. It's interesting. It's there's a lot of moving parts and real time information and fast decision making, and it's fun and exciting. And there's the risk reward element, gambling and variance, and the rarities on. Yeah, it's all fun and speculative and enjoyable. So definitely enjoyed it, but it also leads to burnout pretty quick. And so I was happy to sort of stop doing it day to day.
yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's pretty intense, and what you said, like the risk reward is there, but it's competitive, and I think I enjoy trading for that reason. Let me ask you this: have you gone back to any form of poker just like for fun at all since you've been in the NFT space, like just here and there?
Not in any sort of meaningful way. We have poker nights within Zen Academy, and occasionally I'll play in those. And then I was in Vegas about, I think, a month ago, 3 4 weeks ago, for a conference, Web3 Expo. And one night we just had a fun poker game with some of my team members and community members from the 333 clubs. So that was really fun. But I don't go out of my way often to play poker anymore.
That's cool though. You let it kind of happen, so it seems like it's
Mm,
it's probably more enjoyable, I think, for you.
100%.
Sweet. All right, so let's get into inspiration. What is one lesson in your life you've had to learn the hard way?
Hmm. Um, Sell the top. I think we've all held NFTs too long, held things too long, and taking profits. It's not terrible. Like, things have obviously worked out very well overall. I think, yeah. I mean, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Just sort of don't be greedy when it comes to financial investments, and take profits better. And I think that's one that we all kind of learn the hard way. People say that you need 3 crypto cycles to uh, really make it. The first cycle you hold too long, the second cycle you sell too early, and then there's just the third one you kind of generally can do a lot better. And I've had two, and I've got one left, and but I feel like I've already got very lucky and successful. So I'm not. Yeah, that's one. Yeah, one that came to mind.
Do you think you have an advantage because you've been through 2018? Could you say that?
I think a little bit of an advantage, not a huge one because again I left after that, but I had experienced it and I definitely took more profits this time than last time. And the biggest takeaway is that in 2018, when the bear market started to set in, I was just like already checking out. I was losing interest because it wasn't as exciting. And so this time around, it's very, very different where I'm like just actively making sure that I'm building and staying in the space and staying up to date with what's happening. And I think that's the biggest takeaway.
That's awesome. Do you think because I think like how would you compare that bear market to this bear market? Because I think like in the bear market we're in now, like you can still definitely make a good amount of money, and the community seems pretty strong. So like, how would you compare those two times?
It's hard for me to really compare because I really did just leave. I checked out. I wasn't part of the community in any sort of any way really during that whole bear market. So based on what I've heard, it was obviously a much smaller space than uh, at least up until where we are now. Things are still great and rosy compared to what it was then. Things got really dark and gloomy, and like there were people that had been in crypto since the beginning who thought, "Oh, this is the end. It's all over. It's maybe we are just going to zero, and this was this is too crazy of a speculative experiment." Now I think most people, even in the depths of a bear, can see the amount of stuff that's being built and the companies that are entering and all of the infrastructure and the potential of DeFi and NFTs. And it's sort of, all right, most people are pretty certain and convinced this is here to stay, this is the future. And now it's just about riding through the bear. So I'd say sentiment is probably higher this time around compared to last time. Uh, but yeah, other than that, I can't really offer too much in way of comparison.
Do you think we got some more bleeding to go, or what do you think? It's
I
like down,
think
like are we going to go worse? Is basically my
we
question
might,
before
we
we go.
might, yeah. I think that I don't really think we're gonna just bounce back and go into some bull market anytime soon. I think we probably see, for me, a good result is if like the next 12 to 18 months is sideways action. And if we go down, we could go down another 50%, we could go down another 70%. But uh, I would say, yeah, we're not about to like exit the bear market and things pop off. But again, who knows? I have literally no idea about what's actually going to happen. So much of it's dependent on macro world conditions, which by all accounts seems dire. But again, who really knows with any of this stuff? People thought when COVID hit that the world was, absolutely screwed and everything was going to go to zero. And then we saw the biggest bull market we've ever seen after that. And so who knows?
Yeah, that's what I would think is pretty fun about like the speculation is like at literally any time like like we're kind of in
Hmm.
this like bubble, the crypto space, and like yeah, the outside world is just there's a lot of things going on, but like the bull could literally come back tomorrow and we'd all be
Yeah.
like what and that's what's
Yeah.
crazy. It
Yeah.
makes it exciting for sure. What do you love about Web3 that inspires you to do it every day?
I think just the fact that there's so many opportunities and that it's so new that there's so much stuff that hasn't been done or thought of. So you can come up with an idea that's literally just never been done before. Whereas it's very difficult to do that in Web 2, Web 1, the real world. Like most people have had that. You come up with an idea and you're like, oh, this is a cool business idea. This is something cool to do. And then you go and Google it and there's like 8,000 other people that have had the same idea. And, if you go to write a piece of content, there's like a million pieces of content on the exact same topic. Whereas in Web3, it's also new and uncharted territories and cutting edge that it's really exciting and inspirational to be able to be like, we get to decide what the future is and we get to build it ourselves and pave the path for everyone else in a certain way. So I just think the opportunities is probably the most exciting part to me.
I agree with you for sure, and it's created like an opportunity for my brand Hyped is like when I think about it, like I'm all about positivity and spreading good energy. And it's like I could create a project with art, with really good art, say small supply, and I could do like daily text messages. I could do weekly calls. Like there's so many things that like you can add on to the like project that I think is just absolutely incredible. And you can always add on to the blockchain, which makes it like so innovative. Like, you know, you could, for Zen Academy, you could just be like, oh my gosh, like I just had this idea this week and we're going to implement it in 3 months. We're going to work on it and boom, put it on the blockchain. It's like just crazy that that's always a possibility. And I think like that's what really excites me about the space and like moving forward for the future, like these next 12 to 18 months, if we are in the bear, is like the building that's going to be going on is just going to be absolutely crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's awesome.
What do you have anybody in your life that's an inspirational leader or someone that you've looked up throughout your life?
Throughout my life, my friend Jamie comes to mind. I wouldn't say he's a leader, but just generally a great person, smart person. Probably that's the first and only, well, not the only person, but the first person to come to mind over like a long time span. But more recently in the Web3 space, I look up to Snowfro, Eric, the founder of Upblocks, a lot. I think the way he leads and runs the Upblocks company and community is really inspirational. And yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, Snowfro's incredible for sure. Every time I hear him speak too, it's just absolutely amazing. What is your favorite inspirational movie?
Ooh, inspirational movie. I'm a terrible movie. I'm like the opposite of a movie buff, whatever that is. I really don't know. Like,
do you have a favorite movie?
I don't really have a favorite movie, not a singular favorite movie. It depends on yeah. I don't.
What about you watch TV? You have a favorite TV show?
Think I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, can you hear me?
No.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know if I'm. You can't hear me? That's so weird. I wonder what happened. Technical difficulties? No? Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I just took my headphones off. I don't know what happened there.
It's okay. I don't know. Okay, so no TV, no movies. You're an avid
I like TV, I like movies, but I'm just not. Nothing's coming to mind in terms of an inspirational movie.
Do you enjoy reading books?
I used to. I mean, I love reading. I like books. I just haven't had that much time throughout Web3, but definitely a book fan.
When you're not in when you're not, obviously probably a lot of your time is in Web3, but so let's say you're not. What is like a hobby that you have outside of this?
Video games. Love playing video games. Probably the biggest one. Food. I love eating. Going out to nice restaurants. Cooking, but I don't really have that much time for it. I was really getting into gardening before Web3, but again, that just totally went out the window. But probably the thing that I spend the most time on now, aside from Web3, is games.
So what games do you like?
The one that I play basically exclusively is Dota. It's the one that I've played for a very long time. But occasionally we'll dabble with other games. And I love board games, but video games, Dota is the one that I play.
I love Dota. Dota's tough. Dota's a tough game, dude, for sure. And that's
it's just gotta you think Web3 has a steep learning curve, Dota has a steep learning curve.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think like the thing with Dota is like sometimes you can feel like you're just absolutely crushing it, and then you just meet like your maker and you're like, what is going on? I gotta
there's
read.
Always someone way better than you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. All right, let's get into positivity. This is huge for me. I'm on a mission to make positivity louder. There's so much negativity in the world. So I'm just on a commitment. So what we do in this segment is we talk about positive mindset. And I'm just going to read like a general positive mindset definition is the practice on focusing on the good in any situation. Now that doesn't mean that, obviously things happen in your life that aren't good, but it means that you can always focus on the good and positive things that you can take out of that. So can you tell me, you seem like a very, very positive person. Can you tell me how having a positive mindset in your life has helped you throughout your life?
Has helped me what? Sorry, could you repeat that last bit?
Has helped you like navigate your life, having a positive mindset?
Um, yeah, it's just sort of it's not something I've always had, but it's something that came through reading like Stoic philosophy and Stoicism a lot about focusing on what's in your control versus what's not in your control, and that really life happens and you get to decide how you want to react to it. And I think that it just sort of was this mental unlock where I was like, well, then let's just decide to be happy and feel good about things and sort of look at the bright side, glass half full. So that's generally how I approach things. Occasionally, obviously, that's not how things always go, but it's sort of like I think what my default position is these days.
Yeah. How long ago did you start, do you think start practicing that?
I think it was probably around 2016, so like 6 years
Yeah.
ago. Yeah,
And did you see like an upward trend, not like an upward trend in your life, but just like a shift?
definitely a shift. It wasn't like all encompassing. It was definitely several years between then and here where I was like depressed and anxious and dealing with other things. But that was when I first heard about or really read about like stoicism and that philosophy, and it was yeah something that just definitely helped throughout, and then eventually was just like enough of an unlock to be sustained.
That's awesome. Can you tell me about some positive benefits that you think for Web3 can do to the world?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest ones is like the global opportunities that it sort of presents and creates for people from all around the world, wherever you might be. If you're a creator in some part of the world where it's like difficult to sell physical art, for instance, you can go online and sell your work. Or if there's just like I think it's like the next evolution of the internet, where the internet opened up opportunity for anyone with an internet connection. Web3 is like expanding on that and giving further opportunities to people all around the world, and I think that's one of the most exciting things about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it levels the playing field. I think anybody can do anything, and it
Mm,
gives that just more opportunity. And for sure, like the tight knit community that we have is like like I have you on the podcast right now, or like I could get so many different founders on the podcast because of the tight knit and the opportunity that it brings. And I
mm,
think like that's such a benefit to people that really want to get after it or are motivated to better their life and change the world. And so I think like that's such a positive
100%.
benefit.
It's also in addition to that is I think the ability to sort of be anonymous if you choose, and have an entire life online in the virtual world, in crypto, in blockchain, in metaverses, because there are a lot of people who get discriminated against, or maybe their governments would not want them doing X, Y, or Z. But this sort of is the great equalizer where anyone can be anyone and do whatever. And as long as like people are, it's like a true meritocracy where people can be judged, evaluated, respected based on their actions, and not sort of their gender or their skin color or what nation they're from or anything like that, or their age. It's literally you can be, if you want, fully anonymous. And yeah, I think that's one of the best parts about the space.
Oh, absolutely. Let's get into enthusiasm. So I talk about one life. We have one opportunity, and so I wake up with a little bit more energy than some people. But yeah, just grateful to be alive. This is one of my favorite questions to ask. What are three things in your life right now that you can't get enough of?
Hmm. Three things that I can't get enough of. I think collecting generative art is one. Like that's just so much fun, and I absolutely love going down that rabbit hole, and it's really exciting. Uh, just ideating with my team about like what we can do next with Zen Academy and like things that we can do. That's super duper duper fun. and spending time with the family.
Yeah. How? So what kind of? You said you had a dog. What kind of dog do you have?
She is a border collie crossed with a Labrador.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. That's cool. What has been the biggest accomplishment of your life so far?
probably Zen Academy. Like, yeah,
Yeah. You just love it.
it's yeah, man. I mean, it's crazy that we are where we are. Like a year ago, it was just me. Now there's 20 of us working on it. There's it's reached and impacted in a positive way. I think people from all around the world and helped people, and you know the bar was set very low. Being a professional poker player, there wasn't too much to compare to. But even then, I think I feel extremely proud and happy about what we've achieved in 1 year, and I'm really excited for the future.
That's awesome. Do you think you've taken, because there's so much strategy to poker, like you've taken that strategy in running a business now to like the way that you think about things?
Not consciously, but I think it probably runs through. I think just poker sort of trains an analytical and logical mindset, and I think that really helps in every area in life, and it goes hand in hand with stoicism as well. So, uh, certainly has been sort of great benefit to be able to think this way.
Do you have do you have any specific routines that you practice for stoicism, or just in your, like, I have a morning routine? Do you have a morning routine that you do every day?
I do not. I have in the
No.
past, and I would go through
Mhm.
phases where I'd have a morning routine or a nightly routine, and generally things are better when I do that. And it's whether it's journal, meditate, cold shower, have tea, stretch, all of that. Go for a walk, all that good stuff. Exercise, and yeah, life's great when I do it. But I just haven't for the last. I don't know. It's been a couple of years now, at least.
Yeah.
Well, probably about a couple of years since I've had one. Uh, it's more of a just sort of running thread throughout my day now, where it's not a thing that I practice actively, but it just is the way that I think and see the world. So it's more of a constant thing.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's awesome. What do you have a one moment in Web3 that was maybe your most exciting? It's like a most exciting moment in Web3.
Oh yeah, I can definitely
Yeah.
answer this. So this
Let's
was
go.
during I think it would have been August last year, and so like depth in the peaks of a bull run, and art block specifically was sort of it was going off like 10x more than everything else, and just like mania and hype and excitement. And there was just like a 2 day period where I was just at my computer in the art blocks Discord, and they have a bot that goes through and posts every time there's a sale, and I just had like literally had my mouth open. I was like just in awe of what was happening. And it was surreal and so exciting, and just chatting with friends about it. And like that is something I'll never forget. It was the most exciting part of like in this space so far. Is just
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Did you have quite a bit of the stuff? How
Had a
was
good
your
amount of it, yeah, by then. So
Yeah.
it was just surreal just watching. It was almost like a validation, because for a long time a lot of the prices were actually down from mint, and that's sort of been going sideways. And then they started taking off a little bit, and it was like, all right, this is really this is awesome, and prices are going up, and like this is exciting. But then it was just like it really just went next level for a few days, and then it continued for a while after. But it was just like it didn't even feel real. I had to like pinch myself. I was like, is this really happening? What is this? Yeah.
That's awesome. What's your biggest flip in the space? And I feel like I've heard you talk about this a little bit. Do you have like a couple big flips that are like crazy?
It would have to be my board ape. Well, one of my board apes. I bought three at around 0.5 to zero point 0.7 ETH, and then I sold one a couple months back for I think 80 ETH or something like that. So that would have to be the biggest flip
So
in
you still
terms of.
have two.
Still have two. Well, I have one, and my partner Rachel, she has one, and yeah, I'm thinking there's certainly been like some like flips that have happened like in the course of a day, where like I'm in something and then flip it for like 2 ETH or 5 ETH or something kind of wild, especially back last year. But in terms of sheer size, that one, the Bored Ape, has to be the number one.
Is Rachel in Web3, like, or does she enjoy being in it, or she has her own thing she
She
does?
enjoys NFTs and collecting art, especially, and certain other projects. But she's got a full time job, and she's last few months bear markets hit and been a bit difficult to stay as involved. But definitely earlier this year and definitely last year, we were chatting about and collecting things together quite a lot.
That's cool. That's really cool. What was your thought process? Because I've actually never been able to ask anybody this. When Bored Apes were at 150, uh, I think that's what they got up to, was 150 during the bull, right? When it's 500,000 or something they were at.
Something like that.
Were you thinking? Were you just like, what was your thoughts?
I just didn't really have. I wasn't just paying too much attention or caring too much about it. I was like, oh, this is cool. Like they're going up still. That's about expected. And I think that they were just so clearly the dominant PFP at the time that it didn't seem that crazy. Obviously, in hindsight, everyone would go back and have sold then. But yeah, I just wasn't paying too much attention to it. Like everything was going a bit crazy at the time. And it was just, yeah, it was just something like I had basically set in my mind to hold very long term, at least for like I'm
Over a
in
year?
Germany, and the capital gains is 0% if you hold over a year. So the I'd never really planned to sell before then, and so that was within that. So I wasn't really even considering it. And yeah, yeah.
Wow, it's 0% after a year. That's
Mhm.
insane. What is it
Yeah,
before? Like 40% or?
something like that. Yeah,
That would make my decision. Probably I would
yeah,
hold for
exactly.
sure
Yeah.
over a year. That's wild. I think we're everybody listening to this is gonna be moving to Germany soon, so you might have some
Hmm.
new friends.
Actually,
What
go to
okay.
Dubai because we're actually moving to Dubai in a couple months, and that's just 0% for everything all the time.
No way.
Yeah, there's no
Oh my
tax.
gosh. Uh,
Yeah.
Well, you guys heard it first. Hype Happy Hour, guys. Zeneca says move to Dubai. We're all gonna make it 0%. Wow. Absolutely freaking riding. Wow, that's fucking awesome. So do you practice manifestation at all, or you said you kind of journaled previously in your life, but do you write down like really big goals or dreams that you have, and then manifest them, think about them?
Not really. Again, I have in the past written down goals, but it I wouldn't say that I practice manifestation or anything like that.
No. Okay. Well, under dreams, we talk about being a deliberate optimist, right? So the things that you want, you got to be very deliberate about them. You can dream big, but you got to work for them. So I really enjoy this segment. I'm going to read to you the dream that I have for my life, and then you're going to, off the cuff, out of your soul, tell me the dream that you have for your life. Um,
Mhm.
so I'm Gentle Tornado. I'm an honest, enthusiastic, and successful man that will inspire others to live their life through happiness.
I mean, that's a good dream. I'm just gonna steal that. No. uh, yeah, I'm Roy. I'm Zeneca, and I guess just want to have help people. Like that's the gist of it. It's just like I want to help people and do it in a way that adds value to people's lives. Yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. I think that's great. If you could, this is a fun question. If you could go back in time and tell your 13-year-old self one thing, what would it be?
Don't drink alcohol.
That's awesome. So you don't drink anymore?
Not
Or?
anymore. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Do you have any healthy habits that you really focus on throughout your day, or has habits been a big thing in your life?
I really don't. I've tried habits, and obviously I have some habits, but I read Atomic Habits and then went through the whole trying to curate excellent habits. And again, in the past, I've had morning rituals and all sorts of other stuff, but these days, I would say I don't have any single specific healthy habits. It's all a bit chaotic, and I need to sort of spend some time getting my life back in order a bit more. Web3 is
See,
just throwing everything for a loop.
yeah,
Not
it
that I was
seems like
great beforehand, but it's certainly a little more chaotic now.
yeah, I think it seems like you've done it before. And so it's almost like, 75% ingrained in you, like what to
Mm,
do, and you probably do it subconsciously, but uh, there is a benefit of structure, but there also is a benefit of you've done it for probably a really long time. And so you just kind of do it,
yeah.
and you don't necessarily have to, highlight those habits, but if you do them, then it's ingrained.
Hmm.
All
Yeah,
right.
no, 100% agree.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to read you my favorite poem. This one, I love this one. It's called The Dash. So it says, I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on her casket from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of her birth and spoke of the following day with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that represents all the time that she spent alive on earth, and now only those who loved her know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what is true and real, and always try to understand the way other people feel, and be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you spent your dash?
It's awesome. Hadn't heard that one
How you-
before.
What do you think? What's your thoughts?
I love it. I think it's really it's poetic, obviously, and it gives a really good life lesson and message. Yeah, talks about the important things in life.
It's awesome. All right. So how we end it is that you get to leave the audience with one final thought, and that could be literally anything, and then you get to ask the audience one question.
Ooh. Final thought would be patience is a virtue. It's something I tell everyone, especially in Web3 and NFTs, where we're bombarded with FOMO all the time and we think we have to move quickly. It was more relevant in the bull market, but even in the bear market, I think it's just being mindful of just how crazy this space is, and there's nothing wrong with taking your time and being slow and taking things slow. Asking the audience one thing. I would just love to know what. Actually, what would I love to know? I'd love to know where people think what role artificial intelligence is going to play in our lives in 5 years. Because I
That's a
think
good one.
everyone's vastly underestimating it, but maybe I'm wrong, and I'd love to hear what other people think.
What are your thoughts to that question?
I'm terrified. I think it's going to, really upend everyone. Like, I think everyone in the world is underestimating it. Almost everyone in the world is underestimating it. It's going to come, and we're already seeing it improve in leaps and bounds, and it's replicating and eliminating so many people's jobs and livelihoods, and that's only going to accelerate. And I think that the world is not ready for a world with artificial intelligence to the degree that we're going to see in a few years' time. So I'm genuinely fearful.
Yeah, I guess.
Way to end on a positive note. That
Yeah, I just do my best not to think about it, so I'm going to answer
Yeah.
that question and just say,
No,
like,
I mean,
I'm
so
just
let me put a
gonna-
positive spin on it there. Like AI is a tool, just like anything in life. It's technology. It's like computer. It's like calculators, right? They were a piece of technology that were invented, and all of a sudden made it a lot easier for people to do complex mathematical problems. But there definitely were people whose jobs were using, pen and paper and other things to do math problems. And then things like spreadsheets and computer programs came along, and everything else got a lot quicker and automated. And we adapted and we adopted. And AI is just another tool, and the people who can figure out how to use it and utilize it, and as a society, if we can figure out how to use it and utilize it, it will enhance our lives and make things a lot better. And there are a tremendous amount of really awesome use cases. Like it could literally be used to cure cancer if it's applied. Yeah, just what like yeah, there's so many cool use cases. So it is really exciting, and I think it's gonna improve the world in like a ton of ways. But I just think people should be a little mindful of the other side of it as well.
All right. I love it. So listen, this is Hyped Happy Hour, episode 30, with my guy Zeneca, Roy. We are absolutely riding. I'll end it on that note. And everybody, thank you for watching. Thanks for coming on, Zeneca. I appreciate you. And everybody have a great day.
Thank you for having me.